Joining us now, retired U.S. Naval Admiral Steve Abbott. Admiral Abbott served as Deputy Homeland Security Advisor during the George W. Bush administration. It's really good to have you, Admiral. Are you concerned about the prospect of another Donald Trump presidency, given what we've heard from all of these high-ranking officials, including folks like John Kelly?
Thank you, Katie. I'm grateful to be here, and we should indeed certainly be concerned. Personally concerned over the return of Donald Trump as President of the United States and Commander-in-Chief of our armed forces. And I believe that General Kelly's remarks are a stark warning about what, in fact, could be in store in a second Trump term. You mentioned that the Supreme Court decision on the immunity question raises concerns about whether he would indeed become untethered from the Constitution in a second term, and that raises the prospect of the military being used in a way that it was not intended. I think we should be particularly concerned about this possibility of the military being used against the enemy from within, quote unquote, civilians in our own country, and in fact, members of the opposition political party.
I wonder what you think of his ability to talk about veterans this way, to talk about active duty service members or those who have died in war this way. And it's not new. The third rail of politics used to be you can't denigrate our armed forces, but Donald Trump blew that out the window back in 2015 when he called John McCain not a war hero. He blew it out the window again when he went after George W. About the decision to invade Iraq, saying to a giant crowd of people, veterans mostly in South Carolina, that he and his administration lied to get us into a war. And I was at that rally, and the roar from the crowd was deafening. I wonder, is it because he was willing to say that ugly truth about the Iraq stuff, and not to get into the merits of it, but to say that to people who experienced it? Was that what gives him so much latitude with the rest of this stuff? How do you explain it?
Well, I think that the people who listen closely to what Donald Trump has said over the years recognize that it indeed is a consistent litany of disrespect to the military. You mentioned the Ames, Iowa comment that he made about Senator McCain, who was, by the way, a naval aviator, as I am, and who I consider a true war hero. He said he was not. But then there were significant subsequent incidents where you could have dismissed that one as a one-off, but he was actually with General Kelly in the Arlington National Cemetery at Memorial Day, I think it was 2017, where General Kelly's son is buried, having been killed in Afghanistan, and pointed at the headstones and said, "I don't get it. What was in it for them?" And of course, we know he's said that the Presidential Medal of Freedom is better than the U.S. Medal of Honor, and most recently the political stunt at Arlington National Cemetery this last month. I think just make clear that his attitude toward the military is one of disdain. But I would say that it's more his policies that we need to be concerned about. And this fascist tendency that General Kelly raises is a stark accusation, but I think it's an accurate one. I think you go back and look at the history of Germany in the period that Hitler was coming along, and it was a fledgling democracy. And Hitler managed to manipulate that democracy into the fascist state that, in fact, brought us into the Second World War. That was a warning that General Kelly was giving us about the potential for a second Trump term.
Admiral Abbott, thank you for joining us on what is a depressing topic. Appreciate it, sir.